Hello and welcome to the course on C Programming Learn to Code series. This is the 8th lecture of Unit 2. In this lecture, we will discuss the structure of a C program. Means when you are going to write the program, we will check with the general arrangement, or we can say, let's say your program contains 10 lines of code, how the codes has to be written. And what is the execution process, means how the code is actually executed by your computer. Okay, so that part we are going to discuss. Means every program is actually constituted of a structure. By following that structure, we have to write the code. Okay, so let's begin. So the structure of your C program will be discussed. Before that, before I'm discussing that, first of all you should know some generalized fact about the structure of a program. You know that means we have to keep in mind that every C program consists of one or more functions. Okay, that means if you are going to write a C program, the program must contain at least one function. Okay, that may contain multiple functions. Now the questions immediately came into your mind, what is a function maybe. So I'm trying to explain you, a function is nothing but is a group or sequence of C statements that are executed together to perform a specific task. Means for an example, if you want to add two numbers, that is a function. Means that is a suppose say that is a task, you want to write code for it. So what you are going to do is you have to create a function for that. So to create a function for that, what you are doing, you will write the function name. Okay, you will write a function name, and after that inside the function name you have to write the code. Okay, so code means there will be multiple line of code, and the function may take some values for performing the operation, and the function may return some values. So here you specify the return, what the function is going to return and what the function is going to take from you. You think something like that. Let's say you want to make cod. Okay, cod, you understand, cod, C-U-R-D. So if you want to make cod out of milk, okay, and you don't know how to make cod, but your friend know how to make cod. So let's say your friend name is ABC. ABC is your friend name. So what you are going to do is, if ABC knows how to make cod, then ABC can be acted as a function who only perform how to make cod. So ABC must take the input. So what ABC needs to make the cod, you have to give milk to him. So this is the input you are going to give to this ABC. What actually ABC return to you, he will return cod. So you can write something like this, cod ABC milk. So what does it mean? It means ABC is a function, or ABC is a man who takes input as milk and return cod as output. Okay, now how ABC is making that milk, it is known to ABC. So ABC must follow some step number 1, step number 3, step number 2, step number 3, and so on. So he must have followed some steps to make this to convert this milk to cod. So what is the step, we don't require to know it. Okay, so that should be known to ABC only. What we will do is, we will only call ABC. So how we call ABC, please take this milk and give me cod. That is our only objective. Okay, so we can say that this is a function. ABC is a function which takes input as a milk and return cod as your output, right? So similarly, whenever you are writing a C program, actually the C program is made up of different functions, right? So by using several functions only, the C program is written. So one function must be there. So that function is actually called the main function. That means if your program does not contain multiple functions, then it must contain at least one function, that is called the main function. Okay, so main is actually a user defined function. We will write the code, means statement code, means line of code inside the main function itself. Like it is something like I have shown you here, no? So it is something like there will be a return type and there will be the main function, means what is the function is returning, the main function. Then you have to provide the argument over here. Then main has a body where you can write your codes. Okay, so whenever you are going to write any program in C, you have to include the main function into it, right? So this is the general idea of a structure of a program. Now the entire structure, let's look at the entire structure. So generally the entire structure of a program is looking like something like this. Okay, so here you can see I have divided into 5 different parts. So I have written over here. The first part is your documentation, which is mentioned here. This is your documentation part. Then you have to include the header files, that is the step number 2. Then the third point is your called the global variables. So you have, this is the third step. And the fourth step is your main function and its body. So this part entirely main function and the body of that main function. Okay, so this is your fourth part, and the final is your sub functions. So sum function is the fifth part. Okay, so every program, when you are going to write a C program, every program must follow this structure. Okay, don't worry about the internal part of this here, the body of the program, curly braces, inside that there is a declaration part, executable part. Don't think about it right now. Just understand that whenever you are going to write any C program, you should follow this structure. Okay, generally all the C program does not contain or does not follow this structure. Might be your program, you may write the program without any documentation. Okay, you may write a program without any global variables, but header file is must. Okay, main function is also must. Then there may not be any sub program functions, okay, or sub programs. So that means there are 3 compulsory part, not 3, only 2 compulsory part. One is you have to include the header file, compulsory part, and you have to include this 4th step. Then only you can write a program. But as in a generalized structure, whenever you are thinking about a generalized structure, then your program must contain all these parts. Okay, so let us begin with the discussion of that documentation. What do you mean by documentation? So a documentation is nothing but it contains some comment line. Comment line means what? Suppose you are going to write some code. Okay, lines of code you are going to write. Now which code is doing what? You understand it, but whenever you give this program to somebody else, now can the person, by reading this line, can the person understand each line? He may, if he is an expert in the C programming language, he can directly understand it. But if he is not an expert, even experts also need the documentation. Okay, so if he is not an expert, then he don't know why you have written this line, or let's say why you have written this 3 line. So you can specify or you can mention that why these 3 lines are written through a line of code, that is called a comment. Okay, generally the comment line is ignored by the compiler. Like these lines are important for the user and ignored by the compiler. So if you use a comment line before any line, generally the comment lines are generally appeared in the first part, as I have already shown you in this particular area. Either the documentation or the comment line can be appear above the program, or it can be appear in between the programs also. Okay, generally the comment line is actually specifying a author name or the date when you are going to when you have executed or written that program. So those kind of things are represented with comment line. So the comment line is actually written in 2 ways. One is called single comment line and second one is called your multiple line of comment. Single line comment or multi-line comment means sometimes what will happen, you have written the program and you want to write the comment here, and your editor maybe the space in the editor is less, means the screen of the editor is something this, and you are started the writing the comment line and it ends here, and may you come to the means the second line, then that time you have to use the multi-line comment. If your comment is only a single line comment, then you can use the single line comment format. So how to write that comment line, I am trying to show you. A single line comment is generally written something like this. You have to use double slash, okay, before you write any comment line. Okay, so I am trying to show you this with an example. This is a single line comment. Okay, so I have used two slash, forward slash, to specify a single line comment. But remember, this single line comment is not supported by your C89 compiler. That is, I have already talked about this. So C89 standard does not support your single line comment. Okay, it only supports the multi-line comment. So how to write a multi-line comment? The multi-line comment is something written like this. You have to first type slash star, then you have to write the comment in multiple lines, and when your comment finish, you just type star slash. So slash star and star slash must be specified to represent a comment line, and it is supported by 89 also, 99 and above. 99 above means any other standards like C11, C18, all are supporting this comment line, that is your multiple comment line. Okay, so most people prefer this single comment line, so that is your choice whether you are using the single comment line or multiple comment line. That is depending upon your requirement, right? So the final step I want to say you that comment may appear everywhere in the program. As I have already told you that we can write the comment line in any part of the program to specify what is exactly I'm writing over there. Okay, so that is all about your documentation. The second part that we want to discuss here is the header file. So what is a header file? So the header file is generally called this is called a link section. Okay, link section means what? Link section means, generally I have already talked about your linker. So this is sometimes called link section, means you are going to link the content or link the library to your program. So that's why this part is actually called the link section. Okay, so these statements instruct the compiler to include C preprocessors such as header files before compiling the program. So generally what will happen when you are going to write a C program, as we are talking about your structure of a C program, your first line of the C program is comment line. Okay, so you have written the comment line. After that, what you are going to write, you have to include the library files, or that is sometimes called preprocessors. Okay, preprocessor means all the content of these files are already been executed and you don't need to compile or execute that part. These things has to be linked to your program code. So what you are going to write is, you will write #include stdio.h. It is an header file. So what is a header file? Header file, you think it as a folder. Okay, stdio.h is a folder, means that is a include folder where a stdio.h file is there. This is a file, include is a folder, and this file contains all the functions that you are going to use inside your main program. So generally your main program, main, your main function contains some functions over here, or some line contains a function. So those functions definition is already present in your stdio.h header file. Okay, so you need to include this particular line over here, stdio.h, if you are using the function which is present inside stdio.h file. Okay, so this act as a linker file. We have already talked about linking, means after compiling you have to link the library function. So these are the things that is actually used for linking purposes. Okay, I hope you understand what is a header file is. A header file is something, means in a single term, if I am trying to explain it, a header file is something which contains some definition of your predefined functions, and if you are using those predefined function in your program, then you have to include those header file or link this header file to your program. That is the complete definition of a header file. And why it is called preprocessors? Because the content of this file is already pre-processed, means this header file has been created by the creator of the compiler. Who have developed the compiler, they have developed this file, and the processing of the execution of this has already been done. We need to include this content to our current program that we are going to write. Okay, so that is the concept of header file. Then the third one is your global variables. So global variable is actually global variables that are used by the multiple function in the program. As I have already told you, your C program contains multiple functions. So out of that multiple function, one function is your main function. So inside that main function you are going to write the code. Let's say there are 3 other functions in your program. Means your program may consist of multiple function, means there must be one function that is called main, and there are maybe several other functions. You can see I am representing each function with a brace over here. Okay, so why I am doing this? Because generally the functions are written in this format only. Okay, so I am trying to represent this with a brace, that is your function name, and this is the brace which specifies what the input is going to be taken by that function. Okay, so these functions need to be called inside the main function. So I'm going to call here A, then I'm going to call B. So when I call these functions, the function gives some output. That output is going to be used by your main function. So this is actually specifying a single program. Okay, but if your program does not contain any function, then there must be only one function. Okay, assume that these all function uses some global variable. Let's say one variable is there, x, and the value of x is 5. X is a variable whose value is 5. Now this x is already used in here. Let's say x is used here also, and x is used here also. Maybe 2 functions or 3 functions are going to use these variables. Then these variable need not be declared inside any function. We cannot declare inside A, inside B, inside C, or inside main, because nobody can access the local variables. Local variables, you can think something like this. If you are having a house, your house contain a kitchen. Okay, your house contain a kitchen, and you can cook in your kitchen. Okay, there will be no concept called global kitchen. Okay, but think about the let's say your toilet. Okay, so if you think about the toilet, in your house there is a toilet, and you are authorized to use your toilet. Nobody else can use your toilet, but there is a public toilet available outside of anybody else's house. So whenever you are thinking about a public toilet, so that is accessible by anybody, any house. So this is house 1 having one toilet. This is another house with his toilet. Okay, so these toilets are local to these houses, but if any member of these houses wants to use public toilet, they can. So that is called the global variables actually. Okay, so here you can see that if x is used by all the functions in your entire program, so this is your program, if all the functions uses some variable, then this variable has to be declared outside of the scope of every function. This line or this box specifies the scope, means the function and its scope. So this has to be declared outside the scope of all these functions, so that everybody can use it. Okay, so as I have mentioned over here, these variables are declared outside of all the functions. Even you are not able to understand what is global variables, you will still don't worry for that. You just think about this example. Whenever we are going to write some programs, you can easily understand what I am talking about, and we are going to discuss about this global variable when we are going to discuss about your functions. So for that time you have to wait, but you should understand what is the concept of a global variable. Fine. So the next part is the main function or the body main function, which is the mandatory part of your any C programming language. As I have already told you that every program you are going to write, at least there will be one function must be available, and that function main function. Okay, your program may contain multiple functions. If it contains multiple functions, one among them will be a main function. Okay, so generally the main function takes this form. You have to first specify the return type, then main, then argument. Okay, then you have to start the curly braces and end the curly braces, and you have to write all the lines inside the main function like this, and every line inside the main function ended with a semicolon. Right, I have already told you what do you mean by return type and what is an argument during the discussion of a function. What is a function? Where I told you that if ABC is a function and it takes milk as the input and it produces cod as the output, CURD, cod as the output. This is the curly braces start and curly braces end, and these are the steps he follow to convert this milk to cod. So this is one type of function. Similarly, main also takes the form like this. So generally what we are doing is we are writing something like this: int main, then only blank bracket. Blank bracket means nothing is there. One form is like this. Someone writes like this: void main and bracket. So void means the function does not return anything. Int means the function has to return a integer value. Blank bracket means the function does not take anything. Someone writes something like this: void main, and inside the bracket we may write void. That means that the main function does not take any input and does not produce any output. Okay, so there are several ways of writing the main function. So you will gradually understand where to use which type of method. Okay, so for the timing, you just understand that your program must contain a main function. Okay, so finally there will be the concept of subprograms. So I have already told you that every program contains, here I have already shown you, a program may contains multiple subprograms. Subprogram is not always compulsory to write. If your program is not that big, if your program contains small number of line of code, then you can write it inside the main function itself. No need to worry about the sub functions. If your program is too big, let's say you want to design a calculator, for an example. If you want to design a calculator, then for add operation you may create one function. You have to write the code for it. For subtraction function, you have to take one function. Okay, the subtraction function may take two inputs, so you have to specify that input over here. The subtraction function may return something, then you have to specify here. Similarly, the add function may take some input, the add function may return some output. So for multiplication also you need to create a function. Okay, so for every operation you may need to create functions. After creating all these functions, you need to create a main function, and inside that main function you need to call all these functions. Okay, subtraction, addition, multiplication. Whenever you call it, then the execution start. Remember, I want to add another point, which is most important point, is that if your program does not contain main function, then the compiler does not able to execute your program. That means your execution always start from the main function. So compiler is always searching for the main function, then he started executing the lines present inside the main function, and you need to specify all other function inside these lines so that other functions can execute. Okay, so these are called the subprogram concept. Okay, so let us go for a simple program. I have already shown you the execution of this in your lecture number 4, 5, 6, how to execute and all those things. Now I am going to explain how it is exactly done. There I am showing you how to execute a C program. Here I am trying to explain you what is what. Okay, so let's say this is I have written the first line is, as I have already told you, every program must be use some comment line to specify what exactly the program is doing. So this program is written for a program to print your name on the screen. So this is what? This is your comment line, right? So whenever anybody gets this program, then he can read this line and understand that this program is written for printing your name. Okay, you may add other comment line also, like this. You will put double slash, then you can write author of this program, means who has written this program. So let's say ABC is the author of this program. You may add some comment line, like you have to write it on the after that. So date of writing, okay, date of writing this program. So these are the comment line you can add, but the compiler, when the compiler execute it, the compiler ignore these lines, okay, these lines which was mentioned by this double slash, he will ignore it, simply ignore it, and does not execute it. So then why to write the command line? It is for the user sake, means the user, when the user will see it, he will understand what the program is exactly doing. Okay, so that is the importance of a comment line. Then the second line must be your header file. Why header file is needed? These are called the preprocessor directive. Whenever you see any hash symbol attached to any folder name, then it is a preprocessor directive. So this include folder is represented as a preprocessor directive. Inside that include folder, there is a file called stdio.h. This stdio.h is actually executed previously, and it is just installed when you are installing your compiler. This was created by the developer of the compiler, and when you install the compiler, this is already present over there. And what does it contain? It contains some predefined functions. Like here, printf is a predefined function. Whenever you supply anything to printf statement, he just print it on the screen. So this function is actually defined inside this head stdio.h. That's why we have to include this line while I am writing any program, because every program somehow they have to print something, and we have to use your printf function. That's why whenever we have to use any printf function, we need to include this header file. So whenever any question come to you, you just close your eyes and write this particular line. Okay, blindly you just write this line, because every program is need to print something. That's why this line must be, this header file must be included over there. So you have to write hash include stdio.h in your program. Okay, then the next line will be, as I have already told you, every program contains at least one function, that is main. So this is a small program, so there will be only one function, and its name is main. You may ask, sir, why you have not declared any global variable here? Because this program is meant for printing your name only. So there is no concept of global variable coming. There is no concept of multiple function coming. So I am not written anything over here. So only one function is there, that is the main function. And main function calls a predefined function, that is printf, whose definition is already there in the stdio.h. Okay, so printf function I have called, I have given the name over here. So let us discuss one by one. So I have to write the main function, and I have already told you what are the different form of main function. This is one type of form, that means main function is there, which is returning an integer value. So to support this int, I have written another line over here, return 0. But think about it. Suppose I am going to write, this program can also be written something like this, void main. Void main means the function will not return anything. Then you have to write this printf line over here. Okay, you have to write this printf line over here, and you don't require this return line, return 0 line you don't require in this particular program. Why you don't require the return 0 line? Because you have replaced this int to void. So void means nothing. Void means the main function does not return anything. So for our case, for this particular program, I have used int. That's why I have included return 0, because main function returns an integer. So I have written 0 to it. Obviously this 0 will go nowhere, because that is not going to be used by our this will be not be used. Only the line of code that is executed is called the printf line. Okay, so printf syntax says that whenever you write printf, and inside the double quote, if you are writing any text line or any line, then it automatically get displayed on your screen. So after executing this program, what you will see? You will see C programming learn to code series in your screen. So to see how it is actually working, you can follow lecture number 4, 5 and 6, and there I have explained how the execution takes place and what is the output has been shown to you. So that's all for the today's class. Hope you understand everything that I have explained. If still you are facing any doubt on this, you can post your queries on the comment line. That's all. Comment section. So that's all. Thank you. Bye bye.